Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Seasonal Tokens Podcast, where Polar interviews people so you can do more investing and less gambling.
Yeah, I haven't heard this before, so it's something.
I never thought about it either. No, when he told me this, I thought, hang on, you are spot on. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, you know, BNB. Look at BNB. It started off as just a native exchange token. You could get some trading fees less. You know, if you held BNB, less trading fees. Perfect. Then DeFi started out of nowhere, and then they made, okay, let's make Binance Smart Chain. We'll go into decentralized finance, and BNB flew up to $690 from, like, I think it launched at like $1 ages ago. You know, so, and he's still building. Like, there's no going back. CZ will keep building BNB for now. So for me, when the market starts looking good again, I think BNB will be a safe bet. Will it? Who knows? But I would rather bet on him and bet on his projects and what he's building than some random person on YouTube who's just shilling a crap coin that's probably going to 5x and then dump and take all my money away from me. Do you know what I mean? It's more of like a long-term goal.
Yeah, invest in teams than in projects, like something like that.
Yeah, invest in the people who know what they're talking about. Invest in them rather than the project, and you will just go full circle.
Absolutely agree with you on this one. Like, we have mentioned a few times the project that we are both part in, and we both believe that gives a great opportunity, especially right now in the bear market, and especially right now when it is just starting out and it is building almost all the time. So what has actually attracted you to become part of Seasonal Tokens team? Because as far as I know, you are the first team member of the project.
Yeah, so I am the first, as far as I know, I'm the first team member. You know, initially what attracted me to Seasonal Tokens was actually Rowan himself, you know, the lead developer and founder, Rowan. He's the one who made this genius project. I was introduced to him by his brother because he needed some help just getting off the ground and getting to know people in the space and starting to build a community. That's how I was introduced to it. And I would say we can look at every amazing aspect of Seasonal Tokens, and I agree with all of them. But having Rowan as the top dog, the man who's made it all, and just listening to him talk about it, that was what actually attracted me to it. And that actually ties back nicely to what I just said about investing in people. Because if you find someone incredibly smart who knows what they're talking about and are willing to put the time, money, dedication into it for something they're going to use themselves, yeah, that's a much safer bet than investing in some random crap. So, like I say, I was attracted because of him, and I've stuck around this long now because I completely agree with the vision. But again, because he's in charge, and he's honestly one of the smartest people I've ever met in my entire life. So,
yeah, I cannot agree more with you about that. Like, Ron is a genius, no doubts about it. And if you haven't listened my podcast with Ron, check the first episode where we are talking about Seasonal Tokens and why it has been created, what's the idea behind it, what are the principles behind it. And I think that you'll find by yourself that this guy is definitely one of the geniuses in crypto. And
easily.
I believe that a lot of people like him are jumping in crypto, which is amazing. And we can see a lot of great projects coming thanks to guys like him. So it's amazing to watch a project like this to evolve. So, like you mentioned also a few times that now is a good time to invest in seasonal tokens. Of course, everybody should do their own research, but why or what are the reasons that make you think that people should invest in seasonal tokens?
Well, from a principal core standpoint, seasonal tokens, they are a commodity, like gold. You have to physically, well, obviously not physically doing it, but you mine each token. So there's 4 tokens. I know you've gone over it a million times, but spring, summer, autumn, winter, and each are actually mined by miners. So there's actually a proof and concept of work there. People are actually paying their energy costs to mine the product, which gives it an inherent value. And over time, there's going to be halvenings, just like Bitcoin, for each and every single token, which means the rate of production goes down by half, and supply and demand obviously equates. The demand starts to go up and supply starts to drop, which increases the price, and so on and so forth. But the long-term vision of seasonal tokens is that if you know what you're doing, you can effectively trade one token for another token of the same type, so spring for winter, for example, following the trend, and if you do it properly, you're gonna get more tokens back every single time if you follow the pattern. Which means long term, since every single token is going to be reduced by half in terms of production consistently, the price will acknowledge that, the markets will reciprocate that, the prices will go up, and long term, if you're continually trading from one token to another, gaining more and more quantity, you can't lose in that aspect. You're always going to gain more tokens, which means when you do eventually decide to sell or reduce your risk tolerances, you're going to be taking out profit. And that is just a genius concept to me. It kind of blows your mind. When you actually look into the deep dive aspects of it, it is mind-blowing levels of ingenuity.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we have been talking with Ruan about this in the previous episode, that this is actually the dream of every investor, to know when to invest and when to
exactly
to jump out of something. So it's brilliant, and like implementing just 4 tokens instead of many projects is also genius, because you have to research one project, not many, in order to decide if this is a good investment or not. So as we know, you have been with seasonal tokens since the beginning of the project, or almost from the beginning of the project. So what lessons about crypto as a whole, or crypto investing, you have learned as part of the seasonal tokens team that you believe can be beneficial for our listeners?
What, specifically to seasonal tokens, or like crypto as a whole?
As a whole, and crypto investing too.
Well, again, to me, I was never a big trader. I was always just an investor for the long term, and I got sucked into the DeFi crap coin trading, where I'd try and make 100x or nothing. Got stuck in that mentality, and that mentality does work for some people, and you can run away like a bandit with $1 million from $1,000 and laugh about it, but you'll probably lose it all later on, as I've quickly learned. So with seasonal tokens, it was the lessons I've learned. It taught me a lot about crypto mining, because I was lost on mining. Like I said, I mined Bitcoin for about 2 weeks when I was 16, didn't know what I was doing, probably wasn't even doing it properly, and that was the end of it. But actually looking into the systems and the technology behind mining, that was mind-blowing to me. I think it was about a year ago I met Rowan and started looking into this. So the way that works, it does make complete sense in my brain now. And it was a very, very difficult process for me to understand. When it sinks in, it's like bang, everything suddenly makes sense about crypto. So yeah, from the mining aspect, I've learned all about that. And then just the trading aspect, and obviously trading from one to the other and consistently gaining more tokens, that was also very incredulous to me, because as I said, with me, it was always, I buy a specific amount of one asset, I wait till the price goes up, I sell it. That's the very native, traditional looking out view. You do it in stocks, you do it in any form of assets normally. This time, yeah, you can do that long term. You can hold if you want to, but you can, along the way, you can trade for more and more and more in the same ecosystem over and over again, all following the same principal rules, and then you will win. Again, earth-shattering revelations in your brain. So lessons after lessons after lessons as part of seasonal.
Yeah, seasonal tokens definitely can teach us a lot of things about mining, farming also, I think, and of course investing. But people should start to see by themselves, and now we have just launched on Polygon, so they can do it without paying a lot of the gas fees that are currently that we are currently having on Ethereum. But we hope that with the merge this will be changed, but who knows if this will happen or when it will happen. So for now, I think that making some tests on Polygon can give some clear answers to people if what we are saying right now about seasonal tokens is true, or we are just trying to mislead people. But
if you look into the white paper and actually read it through, I think it might take a few reads to get through if you're not into the space normally. But when it sinks in and it clicks, you're like, oh, that makes complete sense. And then once you see that foundational principle in front of you and it makes sense, it's very clear as day. It's clear as day that this is a genuine and, frankly, in my opinion, genius idea. It just needs time. I mean, when it launched, the whole reason Rowan built seasonal tokens is that every 4 years you watch Bitcoin effectively go to new all-time highs, and then you have to watch as it goes all the way back down again. And as a holder and investor, you have to consistently watch as your net worth decreases in front of your eyes, and it goes up again, then decreases and goes up again. Seasonal tokens, in a sense, subverts that entirely. And once you understand how that works and it sinks in, it's like, oh, that makes complete and utter sense. And now I understand why. And I think where we're at right now in the markets, and this goes back to me saying earlier about researching teams that are building despite the bear market, this is the perfect time to learn about this now, because this is so relevant that in a few years' time, you're going to look back and think, now if you don't jump in now, for example, you look back and think, now I completely understand where they were coming from with this angle. Because watch as Bitcoin flies again and decreases again and rises again, we subvert that entirely. And it's just such a crazy concept, ingenious concept.